What's up, everyone? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about Karens, insane people, and all that kind of stuff. And as usual, we got some more Reddit posts to check out today, so feel free to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and we're getting right into it. Coworker told HR I was being exclusive for not inviting her to my wedding. This was honestly one of the weirdest work things I've ever dealt with. There's a woman in my office I'm friendly with, but not close to. We've had small talk here and there, nothing deep. No lunches together, no real outside of work connection. She found out I was getting married and asked when the wedding was. Then she straight up asked if she was invited. I kinda laughed and said, "Oh no, it's really small, just close friends and family." I didn't think anything of it. She got quiet and a little cold after that, but I figured, okay, maybe awkward moment, whatever. Fast forward a few days later, I get a meeting invite from HR. Turns out she filed a complaint saying I was being exclusive and creating a hostile environment by leaving people out. Because I didn't invite her to my wedding that I'm paying for, that isn't even work related. So I had to sit in this HR meeting and explain that I'm not required to invite coworkers I barely know to my literal wedding, that it's a personal event, that it has nothing to do with work or who's in the office. HR honestly looked just as confused as I was. They basically said, "Yep, okay, thanks," and closed the case. But now she acts super passive-aggressive toward me, like side eyes, little digs when I walk by, still bringing it up in these weird sarcastic comments like, "Some people are so inclusive these days." I can't believe she actually thought HR could, make me invite her? Some people really do think they're the main character. Karen's kid poops in hotel pool, demands a discount because we have to shut down pool. Every time I think I've seen it all from a Karen, she surprises us with the magnitude of her entitlement. This incident occurred yesterday at her hotel pool and left us all dumbfounded. So we're having a normal day at the hotel when a small group of people approach the front desk. They are claiming there is crap floating around in the pool. This seems funny, but for the hotel it's a major issue. The pool needs to be shut down and locked immediately due to contamination and health risks. Unfortunately, we can't just scoop it out and call it a day. Our pool company needs to be called in and they treat the water. We can only open up the pool when they authorize us to do so. There is a huge liability risk if a guest claims they became ill because they were swimming with feces. We go out to confirm there is crap in the pool, and all agree this is the case. It's not easy kicking out people in the pool on a hot day. The pool is an amenity, and if it's closed, guests will try and get a discount. As we're looking at all the people in the pool, it appears the feces came from a toddler, 2 to 3 years old. Of course, the mom is an entitled Karen who even admits it's most likely from her kid. The diapers next to her give it away. Everyone else reluctantly leaves the pool without issue, except our Karen. She says people should be able to stay in the area and we're overreacting. We would get fired if protocol is not followed. The pool is locked, but Karen follows us back to the front desk. She starts demanding a discount on her stay because the pool is an amenity. One of the employees makes the mistake of saying the pool is being closed because it was her kid's fault. Karen says she will be calling corporate and leaving a detailed negative review against the hotel. Should be interesting to see how this plays out. Entitled woman parked on my driveway and went to work. Looked out the window one morning to see a random woman parked on my driveway. For context, my parking spot fits 2 cars, but my partner usually parks there or my parents when they come over. The first day I thought I'd give her the benefit of the doubt as I wasn't sure if she was mistaken. She looked up from scrolling on her phone to give me a filthy look, as if to say, "Why are you staring at me?" and then made a gesture with her hand to say she's leaving. She sat for a further 5 minutes on her phone, then left. The next morning I see the car parked there again and she's nowhere to be seen. I left a note on her windscreen asking her not to park there. After a few hours of checking out the window to see if she's come back yet, she eventually arrives with a grin on her face. I ask if she works around the area and told her it's my driveway and she can't park there. To my surprise, she says, "I know it is, I'm using it." I said, "You can't park there. I need it, it's my space." She said, "Well, I work around the corner and there's no parking, so I go here." I pointed to the various spots I could see and she said she won't park there again. She ripped up my note, threw it in the drain, and then proceeded to sit on the dropped curb, giving me filthy looks before driving off. I'm not sure if she's going to come back, but I assume she will try to. I've been parking diagonally to stop her accessing it. And a commenter asked OP, can you have her car towed? And OP said, I'm in the UK, so we're limited with what we can do. Unless you get a court order, it's unlikely to have them moved, unfortunately. If I don't like it, tell it to the news. I guess we're going to the news then. My mother was a truly inspiring woman. Her favorite phrase was, why say bleed when you can say hemorrhage? Because she never did anything halfway when she knew she could go all the way. We couldn't even ask for help with homework because you'd be up till 3 a.m. on a school night, adding one more thing. Then you'd go to school with this magnum opus while everyone around you phoned it in and still got an A. She would rarely get angry, but if you activated her righteous indignation, the repercussions would be legendary. There was one such story of malicious compliance that she always loved to tell, and I just found the receipts, so I wanted to share it with everyone. It all started one day when I found a dagger in my brother's room. It was an ornate, sort of fantasy-style dagger. Not something you would find just anywhere, and it was very sharp. We were not old enough to have something like that at the time. He was only 11. Immediately, my mother walked up behind me and caught me red-handed, so I did what any self-respecting little brother would do and threw him under the bus. My brother wasn't home at the time, so she went through everything and found more of these knives. She laid them out on the table and she was psyching herself up for the hell she was going to bring down upon him. By the time my brother gets home, he walks in and sees her sitting there with the knives out. He goes white as a sheet. She immediately asks where he got them. This was the late 90s, and my brother was pretty into Magic the Gathering. The card shop he went to for his fix was just down the street. He spent a great deal of time there and bought boxes and boxes of these cards from them, so they knew him and knew he was too young. They had sold it to him, knowing full well that he was underage, no questions asked. My mother's jaw dropped, and moments later we were pulling up to the place. She drags my brother into the store and puts the knives down in front of the woman who owns the place. She tells her that they had sold it to him. Yeah, so what? He is not 18 and he shouldn't have access to these. You need to tell your employees to check IDs before they sell weapons to minors. She was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt before she snapped back with, it's a joke, it's humor, don't you get it? Ah, so the problem is you. I am his mother and I don't think it is funny. If you won't follow the law at the very least, I need you to stop selling weapons to my son. I'll do whatever I want. If you don't like it, tell the news. Surely this woman doesn't know who she is talking to, or the lengths that my mom was willing to go for her kids. I don't know why on earth that would be the phrase you'd use. Now you were just asking for it. Mom gives her one last chance before the hammer drops. So you were saying that even without my permission, having asked you not to personally, and knowing it is illegal, you would still sell a knife to him? Of course, this is a business. Maybe raise him better if you don't like what he is doing. It was like the air left the room. There were 3 of us boys in elementary, middle school, and high school around the time. She was president of all 3 PTAs for 3 different schools miles apart from each other. She was practically momming as a sport and crushing it by every conceivable standard. This woman had just slighted her to her core, and now had to deal with the consequences of her ignorance. My mom didn't say another word. She gathered the knives and we walked out. Even the woman behind the desk looked a little shocked that she was just walking out. So was I. We all went back to the car and no one said a word. Then you could almost visibly see the resolve set in, and she says, I guess we are going to the news then. I don't remember her saying another word the rest of the night. The next day I woke up and she had papers all around her that she had downloaded and printed off and highlighted. She was on the phone explaining the story to a news station who just opened and responding to emails she'd sent overnight. I don't think she slept. She had been up researching the laws and building her case. The first reporters she talked to didn't seem to see what she saw in the story and told her they wouldn't pick it up. Every time she was told no, she would ask for references to someone who would do something like this. It took weeks of phone tag. She called the next reporter, then another, leaving messages and following up. Finally, she found an investigative reporter who would work with her. They decided that the best course of action was to put a hidden camera on my brother to send him undercover to buy something larger. Believe me, I am well aware of how outlandish that sounds. They met up down the street and gave my brother some money to buy the biggest weapon he could get. I seem to remember it being $120. Wired him up with a microphone and a spy camera they'd bought at a Radio Shack, and he went in and he bought a legit full sword from the place. They jokingly told him not to kill anyone with it as he was walking out, and never asked to see an ID. Afterwards, the reporter interviewed the store owner, who stuck with their old fallback of it being funny to sell deadly weapons to kids. Then they interviewed my mom outside the shop, and the two of them argued on camera. Maybe because they had already caught her on a hidden camera, she felt the need to double down. She had to think people would side with her for some reason. She was irate. My mom just kept feeding her the rope to hang herself with, and the shop owner tied the whole thing into a neatly wrapped bow for the reporter. Just a spectacular failure on her part. It's hard to imagine how it could have gone worse. Sure, it is just a local news report from the 90s. For my mom, it was her hero moment. She knew she was right, and she knew this person had to be stopped, and she did it all the way, just like everything she ever did. In the report, they say that they went back and the place was already closed. Within a month, it was completely out of business. The reporter won an award for the piece, and the righteous indignation was satisfied for the time being. My mom recorded the airing of the report on a VHS tape, and every chance she got, she would parade it around to show people her crowning achievement. She would tell the whole story and we'd all watch the tape until it was lost to time and became legend. Through some effort, I've found the video and I know she would want everyone to see it. And yeah, OP did actually provide the recording of that news piece from the 90s. It basically covers everything we read and even provided some footage of the kid going into the store with the hidden camera. While the shop worker is selling the sword to the kid, you can even hear him say, "Don't kill anyone." Very interesting for sure. If you want to see the full news report, it'll be down in the description. Anyway, friends, that's going to be all for today. Thank you for watching. As always, I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this, and drop a comment down below. So take care, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you next time.